So manifestation isn't just reserved for your personal life. We often think of it as something we use to attract love or money, or to use actually only in our personal life. But another word for manifestation is creation. So if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, someone who is trying to grow a business, what are you doing in that business? You're creating. You have goals, you're making those goals real. And actually another word I like to use for manifestation really is goal setting and goal achievement. So if you can use it in your personal life, why can you not use it in your business? Of course you can. So in this video, I'll talk about some steps you can take if you are a business owner to use manifestation to really grow your company and do so intentionally. You might even be the manager of a team. You might even just be somebody who's involved in a team, involved in a business that really wants to help it grow and can suggest this to your team members, to your boss even, if your boss is open. Because these techniques are the techniques of creation. They are general spiritual principles that apply to life. When we're at work, when we're running a business, we are living life. So if they apply anywhere else, they apply just as well to business.
This is Pooja Eldiman. I am a life coach, spiritual mentor. I work with the chakra system and energy, and I combine it with mindset and techniques from neuroscience so that you can actually coach yourself and become empowered to change your life.
So the first thing you need to do, is get really clear on what it is that you want to manifest. So what is the vision of your company? And I always suggest starting doing this by really thinking about where you want your business to be in 5 years. I quite like a 5-year timeline. And really important to think big picture, go as big as you can with that vision, but get also really specific. And this is where people sometimes go wrong, because they create a business vision, but it's kind of woolly, it's kind of fluffy. They sometimes either don't aim high enough or they aim far too high, and there's no real plan of how to get there. So starting at the visioning stage, really think about, where do you want your company to be in 5 years? How much money do you want to make? Write it down. Like, what's the specific revenue you want the company to make? Who are the clients you want to work with? Who is really important to you? How do you want the business to look? Who will be in the team? How many people? How many offices will you work remotely? What will your role be as the business manager or owner? Like, get really down to the detail. Now, I've had my clients do this, and for some of them, it was really important to double or triple business revenue. They did that. For others, it was really important that in a certain time period, 3 or 5 years, they signed a dream client. For others, it was really important that they worked in a team, a massive team, in which they weren't really doing the day-to-day tasks. They were more in a managerial role by the time they got to 5 years. So you really need to sit down and think about that. What is that 3 to 5 year vision, and what is it specifically that you want to achieve? And I would say write down a specific date as well when you want to have that done. If you have a leadership team, right, I would sit down with your leadership team and actually do this together. So take at least a couple of hours, do some dreaming, do some visioning, align on where you actually want to be together. The dangers of not doing this are that you're all actually aiming in slightly different directions. And from a manifestation and creation point of view, if you have a leadership team and all of them are going in different directions, the company will not go in the same direction. Chances are it won't succeed. And actually there will be clashes and dissent among people when the company starts to go in directions that the leadership team haven't aligned on. So do this process, allow a couple of hours for it at least, and then come back to it after a few days to see if that vision still feels real. Okay, so that's step number 1, get your vision clear. I personally say do a 5-year vision and then come back and do a 3-year vision as well, and make sure the two connect and align. But that relates now to point 2. So you've got your vision. Step number 2 is about action and an action plan. And the reason it's important to actually do an action plan is because your intellectual mind cannot just have a vision for your business without a specific plan for how to get there. First of all, it just doesn't make common sense. Like, you need to have some kind of plan that you're working towards, but also it gives the intellectual part of you that satisfaction that I have a vision I'm trying to manifest, or we as a team are trying to manifest, but also the intellectual mind is happy because there's a plan for how to get there. It starts to believe. And what's really key for manifestation is that you have to have belief. You have to have faith, and you can't let the intellectual mind get in the way. So having an action plan written down for exactly how you're going to get there, it may adjust along the way, is really, really important. So put this in your action plan, right? Really think about specific results you want along the way. And some people go from year one to year 5, but I do this process backwards. So we've done the 5-year vision, okay? Then work back from that 5-year vision and come back. So year 5, you say to yourself, okay, I know that I want to be working with, say, Coca-Cola, right? Let's say that's an ideal client for you. Year 5, I want to work with Coca-Cola. I want to have a team of 10 people. And I want to be making £1 million in revenue. Okay, so you know that's the goal that will have been ticked by year 5. So work back from that. What needs to happen at year 4 to set you up? Maybe you started working with some of the competitors of your ideal client. Maybe you'll have started discussions with them to start a contract being signed. Maybe you'll be introduced to the leadership team there. Maybe you will have already made 500,000 in revenue. Okay, maybe you will have hired half of your dream team. So whatever those achievables are, like, write them down. What are the goals? What are the things that need to have been ticked in year 4? And then work that back for year 3, year 2, and year 1. Okay, and you'll start to see the link between where you are today, what needs to happen today, and how you're going to get to your 5-year goal, with steps and specific concrete steps along the way. When you get to year 1, make it even more granular. So once you're at year 1, your target income for year 1 could be £200,000 of revenue. So then think to yourself, okay, if my year 1 target revenue is £200,000, what does my revenue need to be in 6 months? Write it down. Who do I need to be working with? What steps do I need to have taken? Where does the business need to be? Then go back from 6 months to 3 months. Where in 3 months do I need to be? Maybe the revenue needs to be at £50,000. Who do I need to have worked with? What steps do I need to have taken? What infrastructures need to be in place? What needs to have happened with the company? And so on and so forth. And keep breaking it down and getting more granular just for year 1. And break it down all the way to steps down to what needs to have happened in 1 month, and then what needs to have happened in 1 week. Okay, so that gives you a very specific action plan towards success. Now, something really important I want you to know here. This is just an action plan to get you started. It will change, it will evolve, and manifestation magic will come into it. But it's at least to get you started, and as I said, for your intellectual brain to really start seeing, okay, this is actually possible. I can actually make this happen, and I've got some steps I need to start taking. And then start taking those actions. So you've mapped it out, you know the road to, say, whatever your target is, £1 million. Start taking those actions that need to happen. As I say, the intellectual mind needs to be satisfied. We need to keep it happy when we're trying to grow a company, and we're using manifestation to do so. So you must have an action plan and an idea of how you're going to get there. This does a couple of things. It also makes us spot opportunities when they come up. It makes us go bigger and bolder in our vision because we've already seen the possibility of what we can achieve. And actually it gives us the courage to ask for the really big things that we want, and encourage us to ask for them much sooner than we want them as well. Okay, so step 2 is really get an action plan in place and make sure that it's an action plan you really do take specific action on. Step 3. So you've got your vision, you've done an action plan, and now this is where we bring some intentional manifestation practices into place. Very important here that you connect to this vision, this 5-year vision, every single day, every single week, as many times as you can. Now, this is where the visualization piece comes in. Okay, it's really, really important, because for manifestation, if we are not consciously thinking about and consciously visualizing or consciously believing in what it is we're creating, in what it is that's going to happen in 5 years, that vision, if we're not constantly thinking about it and connecting to it, we will lose confidence and energy along the way. So you have to consciously every day kind of let yourself daydream, right? When you run a business, you can get so in the weeds, you can get so in the detail that actually you can forget what your larger vision is, your bigger why. And we do need a bit of that creative energy to pull us forward. What it does, it starts to make the universe, it starts to make the world around us. If you think of it as a living, breathing entity, it starts to work with us. It starts to allow us to open up to opportunities. And actually, when those opportunities come along, we start to see them. Because consciously we are daydreaming, we are thinking about it, and we are starting, most important, to believe in the possibility. So every day, sit down on your yoga mat, sit down wherever you are, just for a few minutes on a commute somewhere, and dream and think about your 5-year vision. What is that 5-year vision? Think about it, tune into it, and really feel. You need to get to a point where for you it feels like this is a done deal. I know this is going to happen. I have a kind of a plan to get there. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. So you should really feel that feeling of like believing, that feeling of it's done, that feeling of belief, that deep-rooted feeling you feel in your gut or in your heart, that you know you're going to do this. And if you don't feel that feeling, keep on working on it. Keep on sitting down and dreaming and thinking of the possibility and what is, what you can actually create. Here, you could possibly do yourself a vision board, an action board, some people call them. You could put the logos up of the companies you really want to work with. You could write your revenue target somewhere. You could even have a picture of the team that you want to work with, just something to daily and weekly connect you to that vision. What I suggest as well, if you're a company and you have a team, have weekly visualization sessions with them, right? Perhaps get people in to do some yoga with you, and while you do the yoga, to really consciously manifest that vision together, so that all of your energies coming together to create what you want, to consciously spend time visualizing what you want. It really creates team alignment, it creates connection, it creates a belief in something bigger than just one of you alone. And also the power of a group manifesting together is way more powerful than just the individual. So I'd highly encourage you to make it a conscious process. So that's step number 3. Have a daily, weekly practice where you really see your goal. The 4th one is connected, but I would say really make sure that you feel this in your body in some way. So for you, that could be that it's a really, really deep feeling of faith. You feel that in your gut, you know it's possible. Or it could be that you start visualizing this business goal as manifested when you are working out, when you are jogging, when you are dancing. This kind of supercharges that visualization process that you're doing, because when you think about your manifestations, when the body is in motion, you're putting your chakra system, your energy system behind that. You're putting your life force and your consciousness behind that vision. And it works so much better than just when we're just sitting there and static and struggling and in our heads and not able to do it. Once the body starts moving, we increase our oxytocin, the endorphins start going, and it's much, much easier then to think about the possibility. So incorporate this into your workouts, into something that you do when your body is in motion. Okay, and then the final one, keep taking action towards your plan. Every day, keep connecting to it, keep taking action and moving forward, but really focusing on the goals. Here, you will start to notice signs and synchronicity. Things will start to happen that just seem to drop into your lap. right? There'll be an introduction probably to, say it was Coca-Cola again, to someone who works at Coca-Cola, a friend of yours knows and happens to put you in touch. There is this process that happens in the brain and in the heart when we are manifesting, but it works in conjunction with the universal life force. Yeah. In Vedic philosophy, we call it Bhagwan. We call it this all-knowing entity. And it's the universal life force. Some people call it nature, whatever you call it. But once we start to use our brain and the whole of our being to connect to that, it starts to work alongside this force. And then we see things mirrored back to us that really reflect what it is we're trying to manifest. So step 5 is really to start looking out for the signs and synchronicities. Don't brush them off as coincidence. Really think of them as this is the universe supporting me, and actually affirmation that what you want is on its way to you. What you want is really coming to you, and actually you can make it happen. So stay positive and use those signs and synchronicities as evidence for the fact that that is something you want to create, and it's something that is coming to you. I've got a bonus one here now as well, and that is keep the faith. I feel like I've kind of covered it, but not really. So important here when you're running a business. There are times when it's really, really difficult. There are times when things happen that are just gut-wrenching, that are horrible, where you feel really broken and you have to dust yourself off, get up and start again. And it happens again and again and again. Never was a truer word spoken than you have to fail your way to success. So when we're incorporating manifestation into creating a business vision, faith is really, really important. And I actually don't like to think of it actually as faith in something outside of ourselves. I always think of it as having faith in yourself. Have that faith first in yourself that you can actually create. You're empowered to create what you want. You can make this happen. So have that faith in yourself, believe in yourself, use the techniques described here to really keep that faith in yourself, and it will materialize, it will happen. Because it is a spiritual law. It's a natural law of the universe. So it will happen, but don't lose faith along the way. Because when you do, you lose faith in yourself. And actually, your life is too precious. Your vision is too precious for you to lose that faith in yourself. So that's it. Keep moving forward. Allow your company to build and grow. Allow the universe, the universal force to help you, but get intentional about what you're getting your company to create, about your business vision. Thank you so much for listening, for staying to the end of the video. I've really loved being here. I hope this is helpful. Go forth and create really successful companies and ideally making a difference in the world. This is Pooja Eldiman. I really appreciate you. Do like, comment, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.